Hi, it's Miss Lisa from the Poplar Creek Library, and today we are going to make vanilla pudding. But before we can make vanilla pudding, we have to learn some science. How do we measure it? We can't just throw a bunch of milk in the bowl and go for it, otherwise it wouldn't turn out right. So the first thing we're going to talk about is measuring volume. And volume tells you how much liquid is in the container. And you can measure volume using glass measuring cups, and it will tell you fluid ounces and cups, and they tell you milliliters as well. And I have one right here. And if you look on my cup, it tells me 1 cup, it tells me 3/4 of a cup, half a cup, 1/4 cup. This side tells me milliliters, and on this side, in the middle, it tells me how many ounces. And this would be used for measuring liquid. If we want to measure weight, that tells us how heavy something is. We would use a scale. And there are all different types of scales. There's your bathroom scale that you might step on at home that'll tell you how much you weigh. There's truck scales that tell you how much the truck weighs and how much everything is in the truck weighs. And there's also a kitchen scale, and this is my kitchen scale. And there's a button on the back, and it will tell you, this one it's measuring fluid ounces, and I can go between fluid ounces, I can go between regular ounces. And on the back, if I push that fancy button, I can go between milliliters and grams as well. There's all different ways that you can measure. So, in order to make our pudding, the very first thing you need to do is read the recipe. And our recipe is on the back. And this is 5-minute pudding, so you can have it nice and quick. So it says we need to have 3 cups of milk, and we need to beat it for 2 minutes, and then put it in the fridge. Now, I have 2 measuring cups here, okay? This one, the most it measures is 1 cup, and this one, the most it measures is 2 cups. But I need 3 cups, so what do you think I would do? I could do 2 cups plus 1 cup equals 3 cups, or I could do 3 1 cups. There's lots of options here. So I'm going to do 2 cups and 1 cup. And I need something else before I start this. What would I need? A bowl. So here's our bowl. We're gonna open our pudding. And I like to shake it so that I know all of the powder's in the bottom, so I don't open it and have a powder explosion. So I'm going to put my powder in. Make sure you get all the powder out. And then we're going to measure our milk. Now, some tips when you're using a liquid measuring cup. You never want to measure in the air because otherwise it can be all cattywampus. So you want it on a level surface. And you want to look at it eye level, because if you look from the top, it'll look like you might have more or less. And if you look all the way from the bottom, it'll look different. So what you want to do is measure and get down to eye level. And yep, I have 2 cups. And then we need 1 more cup, because remember we needed 3 cups. All right, and that was 1 cup. And then we're going to pour our milk in. We're going to set these to the side. And remember the directions said you want to whisk for 2 minutes. So this is a whisk. This helps mix all the ingredients together. It mixes the milk and the powder. And you would stir this and set your kitchen timer or your phone timer for 2 minutes. I'm not going to do this for 2 minutes. You'd get bored watching me. So what you would do is you do it for 2 minutes and you'd set it in the fridge. Now, another thing you can use to measure are dry measuring cups. We didn't need these today, but here's a 1/4 cup, a 1/3 cup, half a cup, and 1 cup. And just like our liquid measuring cups, you can do all sorts of different measurings. You can do 2 half cups to equal 1 cup, so 2 of these fit inside of here. You can do 2 1/4 cups to fit inside your half cup. You can do 4 1/4s to fit inside your 1 cup measuring cup. So there's all different options when cooking in the kitchen. Now, cooking is lots of fun, and this is a brand new book that we have at the library. It's called Chef Junior, And there's all sorts of recipes in here. And one nice thing about cookbooks is they always have a table of contents. So at the very beginning, you know that this has breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, desserts, drinks. I always like to start with dessert because, you know, it's a lot of fun. So I would jump right to page 171 if I wanted to. And in the beginning, it tells you all about using an oven, how to use an immersion blender, how to use dry measuring cups, how to use liquid measuring cups, and how to use some of the other tools in the kitchen. How to use a knife safely, that's very important. And then you can go to your chapters. And at the beginning of every chapter is a table of contents again. And so this tells you all the recipes that are in this section for breakfast, and then you could go to all the different sections. And at the very back of the book are two very important things. One, this is a conversion chart. So if your recipe calls for ounces and you need to know, well, how many cups are in an ounce or anything like that, it tells you all on this page. And there's an index. So you can look up, I have asparagus, but I don't know what I want to do with it or what I want to make. So you could go right to A for asparagus. Well, this one doesn't have asparagus. So, you know, if you had an apricot, you could do it with an apricot and go right there and see what recipe there is with an apricot. So you can check that out from the library. The other thing you can do is Scholastic Teachables. There's different worksheets that you can do, and this one is called Make Cookie Ratios. So this teaches me, here's my single recipe, and I need to double that, so I need to make 2 times the amount, and that would get me 48 bars. And now I have a lot of people coming over, so I need to make a lot of cookies, and so this would be tripled, and you can actually do the math, and you can see Miss Lisa practice her math and fill them in for you. The other thing is Math Cooks in the Kitchen. There's mix-ups in the kitchen. Oh, I wonder what's going to happen there. And another thing is Tumble Math. This was kitchen math, and it's a whole story that can be read to you. And you can do quizzes along the way, and then there's quizzes at the very end, and it gives you some recipes as well. And the very last thing I'm going to show you is Edible Science. And so Edible Science is cooking is science, but this way you can do science in the kitchen and then you can eat your experiments. How fun is that? All right, and at the end of your 2 minutes, or if you need a little extra time, you would go to the fridge and you can take out your pudding. I got mine from the fridge, and I'm going to take off my lid. You want to put a lid on it so it doesn't take on the flavors of the fridge. That'd be gross. So here is our pudding all done, and you can see it went from a liquid to a solid. And then you can serve it up, and if you really want to be extra fancy, put some whipped cream on the top. I hope you enjoyed this video. Have a great day. Bye!